Hi, I'm Joni Patry, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Well, today I want to talk about the transit of Jupiter going back into Aquarius. For the final and last time, it's touched in and out of this sign, and between April till November of 2021, it backtracked into Capricorn. But now it's moving forward and it's going to enter Aquarius, where it has been before it went back into Capricorn. But now we got to look forward to where Jupiter is going to be shooting through this sign rapidly, because between November 20th and April 13th, Jupiter is going to transit through the entire sign of Aquarius. I mean, Jupiter stays in a sign for approximately 1 year, but sometimes when it's going retrograde back and forth, it kind of goes back for a while and then forward. But overall, it transits in a sign, put it all together, for about 1 year. And sometimes it doesn't go back and forth out of sign, but this time it did. But let's talk about what this means, Jupiter being in Aquarius. I know I've already done a video on this, but I want to talk about this last time because Jupiter is going to be going at an unusual rate of speed. And when planets go faster, that's what they do. They bring faster results and faster things happen. So this is the cycles that we're looking at in astrology, and how the planets move are relative to the results that we will experience. So you're going to see some things on the fast track here. What is Jupiter in Aquarius? Now, Aquarius, in the way that I see it, is the sign of humanity. And people with strong Aquarian planets, they care about the world, and it's improving the world, making it a better place for everyone. And of course, this goes into ecology, what's going on with the planet. And as you can see, we've had all sorts of big changes where we're diverting energy from coal and fossil fuel to electric. We're making the world a cleaner place, and that's exactly what Jupiter in Aquarius is all about. So you're going to see some fast movement towards cleaning up the planet and making it more ecologically better for everything that tries to live on this planet. So looking at, nature and all the destructive things that all of the pollution that we have caused has really hurt other organisms and creatures in this world. It's going to change. You're going to see some major movements in global warming and all of that because, well, whatever it means, the global warming, if it is caused from, I think it's caused from more people being on the planet personally, because they're going to use up more resources, which does have an effect. But don't forget, the planets have an effect. And Jupiter being in Aquarius just means great improvement. Now, as it enters into Aquarius, and even before, it was in the nakshatra Dhanishta. So Dhanishta, it flanks across Capricorn and Aquarius, but it will be in the nakshatra Dhanishta till January 1st or 2nd, where it's going to shift into Shatabishak. But Dhanishta symbol is a drum, and it deals with rhythm and movement and being at the right place at the right time. It's something about timing. And you can use this to your greatest advantage, because we all know that Jupiter is, its most difficult placement to be in is in Capricorn. So moving it ahead into Aquarius is a vast improvement. The one thing that I see with Jupiter being in Capricorn, though, is it's in the same sign as Saturn. And this is actually a good thing. And so what we're looking at is the cyclic process of Jupiter with Saturn as well, because I've often told people in my books, especially my book on how to make money using astrology, and by the way, you can go get that off my website. This book really talks about cycles, and one of the most important cycles to determine what's going on in the financial world is Jupiter and Saturn. and how they aspect each other. So Jupiter being in Capricorn, it's debilitated, it's weakened, but the fact that Saturn is there with it is a plus, because Saturn strengthens it. Even though Jupiter and Saturn, well, they're not necessarily enemies, they're actually neutral to each other. But when you put them together, it is actually a point of manifestation. And I often said there will not be a tanking of the stock market because Jupiter and Saturn together are good. And everyone's been talking about, oh my God, when's the stock market going to crash? Not with Jupiter and Saturn together in the same sign. They empower the economy because Jupiter is a planet that is said, both Jupiter and Saturn are said to be social planets. So they deal with the social temperament going on in the world, and they deal with the financial markets, especially how they relate to each other in aspects. So coming together in the sign of Capricorn, which they haven't been together in the sign of Capricorn since 1961, 60, 61, 62, when somewhere around there, I think it was actually more like 1960. At that time, the economy was doing great. And so I predicted Jupiter and Saturn coming together, the economy would be doing great. And the stock market is doing great. Yes, the economy, I agree with you, is not doing great because of inflation. The inflation is horrendous, but you know, many people that didn't have money have money now. Why? Because the government is giving, you know, these opportunities to give them money to make up for the lost wages from the virus. But what's going to happen down the road? That's what everyone wants to know. So Jupiter is going to change into Aquarius, which means it's going to be second from Saturn, which is actually not terrible. It's when Jupiter goes into the difficult positions from Saturn, which would be either 6 placements or 8 placements away, that we have a crisis, major crises in the stock market and the economy. Now, that's not coming as soon as people are predicting. It isn't, not yet. So you're going to see the up and down waves that we've been seeing for over a year, for a bit longer. So, but while Jupiter is in Aquarius, it really does bring people together too. Because remember, Aquarius is groups, organizations, and the betterment of the world. People are coming together as groups and in friendship to improve and make things better. And while Jupiter is in Dhanishta, there's a beat that keeps going, that keeps the world still ticking and moving on. Things are happening. Things are getting better, especially with Jupiter in Aquarius. But when we get Jupiter in the nakshatra Shatabhishak, which is January 1st, I think that's going to change the whole temperament. This nakshatra, it's intense. It's so intense. Well, Dhanishta is ruled by Mars, which isn't an easy nakshatra either. But I do like Jupiter being in Aquarius. But being in Dhanishta, that's a tough nakshatra because it's ruled by Mars. So even though the environment, things are coming together, there's great change in productivity in that arena, you're going to find that people are more warlike. And yes, I said December would be a month with major explosive, angry, and even an attack of some sort. Well, that could be definitely predicted because Jupiter is in Dhanishta, which is ruled by Mars. Then by January 1st, after the big explosion that I think could happen on New Year's Eve and day, when Mars crosses that eclipse point, then Jupiter goes into Shatabhishak. Shatabhishak is ruled by Rahu, and it deals with some deep, dark stuff. And actually, it is the sign of the 100 healers. So it deals with healing in a deep sense of the word. So between January 1st to March 2nd, Jupiter will be in Shatabishak, and you're going to see that the world is going to have to come together with some major plans to rid this virus. I know we've had the vaccines aren't working because half the people aren't getting them. So this needs to be looked at in a different perspective, and I believe that while Jupiter transits through this nakshatra, there's going to be some major changes with how we treat this virus, to cure it and to get over it, because by March, Rahu and Ketu change signs. And that's the big determinant of massive changes to come. That will be a whole different world. So I think we're moving away from this virus once we have the nodal axes change from Taurus, Scorpio, and they're going to change around mid-March to Aries and Libra. And that's going to be a healing of this virus. Now, don't think on the day that they change it's going to happen, but that's when the energy starts to begin to move in a different direction. That means we're going to have answers, and we'll be able to move on from all of the lockdowns and the fear from this virus. Because the Shatabishak nakshatra deals with the 100 healers. It also deals with the Sky Watcher. And that means people are going to be looking for answers in the realm of astrology, and they're going to be more interested in the heavens and space, and of course space travel, because that is something that's becoming the new entertainment. People with megabucks can now travel into space. What an experience. So, but I wouldn't be so apt to do that right away. There's something in the charts that I'm seeing that there could be a catastrophe with this at first. But I'm gonna be talking about that more as I get into 2022 predictions. So by March 2nd, till Jupiter will change April 13th. So March 2nd to April 13th, Jupiter will go into another nakshatra called Purva Bhadrapada. And that nakshatra is definitely very interesting. It's very strong. It is ruled by Jupiter, so this can open the door to many opportunities. But its symbol is a man with two faces. What does that mean? Well, that can mean someone that's two-faced, or it can mean somebody that has two completely different personas in their life, particularly maybe one at work and one at home, completely different, like two personalities. But I think that there's going to be some very sneaky individuals that are coming in trying to get their foot in the door to run governments, and they may not be who they appear to be. So be on the lookout for that. That's what I see with that. Now, coming into Aquarius is going to be opening the door to everything that deals with air, communications. This is an air sign, and relationships, bettering relationships with countries around the world, but people coming together and finally being able to come together without masks on and, you know, really open the door to the way life used to be to a certain extent, with our coming together with groups and friends and organizations, although it's pretty well getting back to normal. But on top of that, Aquarius being the air sign means there's going to be some major changes in how we travel. And now we have the electric cars and self-driving cars. All of this is going to move really fast as Jupiter moves fast through this sign. So there's going to be progression, quick actions. Now, another thing I wanted to fill you in with just really quickly is how this is going to affect you according to your ascendant or your moon sign. Now, I already did a video on Jupiter going into Aquarius for all the signs, but with it moving faster, I want to just give you the highlight of what you're going to experience in terms of moving forward. Of course, if you have Aquarius moon or ascendant, it's going to be all about expansion, all about your life expanding and coming together. And it's like a new awakening. Now, if you have a Pisces moon or ascendant, things are going to come out from the past that you're going to have to look at. But if there's a healing, I guarantee you, you'll be traveling to foreign places. If you have Aries moon or ascendant, then you're going to be meeting new friends, new groups, being part of organizations. And you'll be doing well financially as well. If you have a Taurus moon or ascendant, then your career opportunities are going to come to life. You're going to be presented with opportunities, expansion, anything to do with promotions and expansion with your business. This is the time. If you're a Gemini moon or ascendant, you're going to be traveling and you're going to be learning and teaching all sorts of new things. If you're a Cancer rising or moon, then this is the time that you're going to go into some deep psychological studies about yourself. And this is a good time to heal. If you're a Leo rising, or if your moon is in Leo, this is a time of relationships. If you're in a relationship, they'll improve, get better, and heal. If you're not, you'll meet someone. If you have a Virgo moon or ascendant, then you're going to be doing your typical thing of getting more involved into health and healing and work. You'll be very busy. And if your rising or moon are in Libra, then this is the time you might want to expand your family, maybe have another child. And if that's not in the picture for you, it's a great time for creativity. And if your moon or rising's in Scorpio, then this means that you may move, you may get a new house, or you're going to expand your house or renovate. If your moon or rising is in Sagittarius, you're going to be traveling, exploring, maybe by car, short distance, but you may go back to school. There's something important that you want to learn, and you'll become closer to your siblings. And if you have a Capricorn moon or rising, then this is the time that you can make some good money, quick and easy, because the second house of finances and money is going to be expanded. So that covers all the signs in Jupiter in Aquarius. So remember, if you want to study Vedic astrology with me, my course is beginning in January. It's January 10th, the new start date for semester 1 with the University of Vedic Astrology. And don't forget, check out my beautiful new spiritual jewelry that I'm selling on my website. So go to galacticcenter.org and don't forget to sign up for my free newsletter. And also, go to my university website if you've always wanted to learn Vedic astrology. This is the answer and this is the time. Starting January 10th, go to universityofvedicastrology.com. Thank you.